How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am so glad each and every one of you could be here. I get asked this question a lot, and well, what is it? What does it have to do with? Well, we'll get to that in just a second. The question is, well, first it has to do with these. Yep, those back there. Both of them to be exact. And the question is which car do you mod? How do you decide? I mean, what comes to play? What's the rationale? And there are actually a lot of variables that go into that decision. Let's go over just a few of them. Not all of them, but just a few. First, before we get up to the cars or even in the cars, just look at them. They are gorgeous pieces of artwork. I mean, they're just beautiful, beautiful cars. And that plays a part. And what do I mean that plays a part? You might like one of the looks of these cars. You might like the 4th gen better than the 5th gen, or you might like the 5th gen better than the 4th gen. But that can come into play when trying to decide on which car to mod, believe it or not. I mean, okay, you drive this car more, but you like that one more. Or you drive that one all the time, but you like that one more. Well, you might like that one, you know, but there's just so much that comes into play on that decision. It's not a really quick answer. Because if you look at the black Z28, it was the most aerodynamic of the day. I mean, it's still so much more aerodynamic than this car. We'll go into some of the differences here in a minute, but just going by aerodynamics, you might like that sleek look better than you like the boxy look. I mean, you like this car enough to buy it, sure, but overall that might be the look that you want to modify. You know, that might be the one that says, yes, let's put on headers, let's put on a supercharger, let's do this, let's put on an aero kit, you know. Yeah. Or you might drive that one more and like to modify this one more. But let's look at them inside. Now I'm sitting in my black 93 Z28, and as you can see, it was like I said, it was ahead of its time. It has everything you need and just enough. I mean, just enough. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's got power steering, you know, like it should have. It even has air conditioning. This car is an automatic. I prefer the automatic in this car. A lot of people really want the 6-speed, but in this particular car, me personally, I prefer the automatic. It just makes this car so much more fun to drive. I can still take it out of overdrive, put it in drive, and have fun with it all day long. But that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, you get the power steering, automatic, air conditioning, rear defroster, leather steering wheel. You get the fog lights, right? You get fog lights with it. And you get four-wheel disc brakes with ABS. Yes, it was one of the infant types of ABS, but still, it was a long way from where the ABS first come from. But this car, when you drive it, feels completely different than that car. And what do I mean? This car sits down lower. The suspension ride is stiffer, and I have changed the suspension on a little bit with UMI and all that, you know, tubular lower control arms, adjustable panhard rod, different springs, lowering springs, and all that. So the ride is different. And you know, we'll get into the ride here in just a minute. I don't want to give it away just yet. But the overall drive experience of this is more manual, if you will. When you put some input into the steering wheel, the brakes, going around a curve, you feel it more in this car than you do that car. This car is just more of a raw beast to drive, if you will. Like I said, it has all the amenities. I mean, I can drive this car all day long on the track with the AC running and never look back. This car has, let me see if I can see it right now. I keep saying 214, but I am up to, I hope this comes through, 219,849 miles. That's right, almost 220,000 miles. And knock on wood, I have never had to do anything but replace the smog pump, the air pump. That is the only thing I have ever had to really replace on this car, outside of brakes and stuff like that. You know, the general maintenance stuff. That's all I've had to do to this car. And like I said, it could tear up tomorrow on me when I fire it up. I don't know, but if it does, I won't personally complain. I will be upset. Number one, my baby's sick. And number two, there goes money that at this point I really can't afford because of COVID-19. My work has cut back on hours, and if it doesn't get any better, it's going to get worse than that. So, you know, we got to plan ahead on that stuff. But with all that said, going off a different beat track, this is a completely different feeling car to drive. I mean, it's just, if you stop and think about 2 or 3 cars back that you bought and compared the way that car felt to that car, you know what I'm saying, to the car you have now, go back 3 cars and compare that car to the car you have now, and you'll understand what I'm trying to say about this car. It is just a completely different beast. Like I said, it sits lower. The handling is crisper. I mean, when you grab it and go to turn it one way or other, I mean, it's instantaneous. That car is too, don't get me wrong, but this one is just so much more crisp in that movement, if you will. You turn the wheel on this and it wants to go. Now over in this car, you know, it's got all the amenities. It's got the 2SS option package, and along with that comes the sunroof, and it's got the leather seats, which are very, very nice to sit in. And every time I sit in these seats, I always crack the joke, somewhere there's an animal rights activist looking, trying to figure out what you did to get those leather seats. You know, they're just sitting there. Yeah, some animals' rights are being violated somewhere with these seats, I guarantee it. And you know, if you look at it, a lot of people complain about a lot of plastic in today's modern cars, but if you look at some of these shapes, right, the contours, the shapes, the angles, there's no way you would get these shapes and angles in an old-fashioned metal dash with a cloth or vinyl dash cap on top of it. There's just no way you're gonna get these types of shapes and everything. But this car has it all. Like I said, it's got the sunroof, as you can see. It's got OnStar, it's got emergency, all kind of stuff on it, you know. It's got AM, FM, CD, it's got air conditioning, it's got all the gauges so I can monitor everything. And this one has the 6-speed. I know that one. I used to actually race that car. So that one, I was glad I got it in an automatic. This one, I wanted a straight drive, and that's what I got. I have the 6-speed, and I love it. But with that said, when it comes time to work on this 6-speed compared to the 6-speed in that one, this one would be so much easier to take out and work on than that one would if I had a 6-speed in it. Just a totally different feel, approach, and everything on that car compared to this if that would have been a 6-speed. And I've got the cruise, you know, I've got all the controls on here. I've got the cruise on the left side, got my radio and phone controls there, all the instrumentation that I can need. Like I said, it's a straight drive, it's leather, it's got power seats, it's got Brembo brakes, which will literally throw you forward when you get on them hard. I mean, those brakes create a lot of dust. It does, those brakes create a lot of dust. But I wouldn't change it because they grip really, really good. Yes, there's better brakes out there. Yes, I understand that. There's always something better, always something faster. But I love these brakes on this car. But this car, when you're cruising around on it, you know, when you're going around in it, it's more of a refined feel. It's got a different exhaust note. The steering, while just as responsive, is, I don't know how to explain it, but just to say easier. When I turn the wheel, it's just easier to turn it, almost like, you know, almost like it's electric steering and everything. It's just so much easier, it's more refined. The pedal controls, you know, I can go up and down on the steering wheel, I can go in and out on the steering wheel, it's telescopic. It's got heated seats, yada yada yada. So what I'm trying to tell you, when it comes to trying to decide which one of these cars to mod based just on the interior, which one do you like to sit in the most? Which one do you feel more comfortable in? Because the one you feel more comfortable in. My line of thinking, I'll tell you which one I'm going to mod or prefer to mod later. Like I said, there's a lot to consider. The one that you're going to be sitting in the most is going to be the one that you drive back and forth to work, okay? My wife, we have a Tahoe also, and she drives that. That's the daily car whenever we get ready to go somewhere. If we just run in the grocery store, gas station, go to get something to eat, doesn't matter, go to a relative's house, we're in the Tahoe. Me, when I go to work, I'm in one of these two cars. Doesn't matter which, I love both for different reasons. And I'm touching on a lot of those in this video. So that's one thing you're going to have to consider. Which one do you feel more comfortable spending more time in, okay? If that makes sense. If you like the way the seats and everything are and the 5th gen is more comfortable, and this could be Mustangs, this could be Cadillacs, this could be SUVs, crossover, anything. If you've got multiple ones, one or two, you know, or one's not multiple, dummy. If you have 2, 3, whatever vehicles, and you're trying to figure out which one to mod, these are some of the thoughts that go into that, right? Which one do you feel best spending most of your day in? Because let's face it, when you're going to work and coming home, that's when you're going to be in your car. It's just that simple. That's where you're going to spend most of your time, outside of when you get home. So that's it for that. We've touched on the outside, which looks do you prefer better? Now we're on the inside, which one is more comfortable to you? And let's look at the most important thing, the actual part that you will be modding. And as we get out, I'm going to touch on one more thing on the exterior. Now what I was going to touch on the exterior of either of these cars is, if you're going to do any exterior mods, like I recently put the Z28 spoiler on and I love it. What I want to put on here next is some side skirts and a front splitter. I don't want to do like everybody else and go to ZL1 front end route. I love the front end on this vehicle, I really do. But I do want to put a front splitter on it. This car is more limited in what you can do. Yes, you can cram a front splitter underneath the front of this car, but it's just got a totally different look, and I don't like the front splitter on that. But there is a few ground effects packages that you can get that offer a different rear spoiler, side skirts, and then the ground effects going down the side of the side skirts have a cutout down there. And you know, it's just parts availability for the outside. Man, these cars are dirty, and we've been getting a ton of rain. Wow, look at that. But that's one of the things you're going to have to consider, parts availability for the outside. The 5th gen arguably is one of the most, outside of the 1st gen, is one of the most famous, most popular body styles that the Camaro has had. And I would like to argue with that, because this body style is very popular too, just not a lot of them around. You know, when they did away with the 4th gen and came out with the 5th gen, it was like, oh my god. And I understand why. It's got characteristics of the 2nd gen with the quad tail lights, you know. The side is definitely a 69 with the gills and everything right there. And then you come to the front and you can see the 67 and the 68 in it. You know, the 67 had the round running lights, and the 68 had the kind of diagonal ones. Not diagonal, rectangular ones is what I'm trying to figure. In the grill, you know, you can see the 67, the 68 grill meshed in there, you know, yada yada yada. But long story short, parts availability for the outside. Now let's look under the hoods. Now to me, this is going to be the most important factor. Well, one of 2 most important factors. I'll get to the second one in a minute. I've been alluding to it the whole time. But if you come up to this 5th gen, nice clean look. As you can see, there's plenty of room. I can get my hands down in here, and this engine's still hot because I just got home from work. I can get plenty of room down there. There's plenty of room down there to get your hands to work and everything. And you know, that is a complete transition from this car. If you look on this car is a bear to work on. That car, you could actually pull the motor out of the top if you want, old school style. Take the hood off, take the motor out. This one, you can, but it is a bear to do. I've helped the guy do it before. You gotta have one of those slides, I forgot what it's called, but it goes on your engine hoist, and you crank it and it tilts. You have to have it tilted all the way down, and then when you bust the motor loose from the transmission, yes, they can. No, they cannot come out together. Take transmission loose, and then that makes the engine drop real radically like that, and you bring it up and tilt it as you come. It's just a pain. I mean, changing spark plugs. I mean, look at that. I can't really get my hand down in that crack right there. Changing spark plugs on this, all of them but 1 or 2 have to be done from the bottom. I mean, it is just a bear. Just a bear. I've changed them one time myself, and the last time I had it done, I paid somebody to do it. I paid $300 to get the spark plugs changed in this one time. Just to save me from having to do it. But that was plugs and wires, plus their time, you know. But yeah, just the freaking half the engine is up under the cowl, up under the dash, and they did that for, you know, to get it closer to 50-50 weight balance and all that. I understand the science behind why they put it back there, but you know, it's just such a pain. It really is to do anything on that car. Whereas again, you come back over to this one, look how simple it is. Change a belt, a water hose, right? Change the water hose, change spark plugs, put headers on it, come over here. Where's the belt? The only sign of the belt you see is right there on the alternator. Now granted, one hose you might be able to change, but most of them come over and then go down. So yes, that is just a complete bear and nightmare. So that brings us up to the next point. The next point would be, just like on the outside, parts availability and pricing. This car has been out so long that it has so many parts for it compared to that one. Yes, you can get any aftermarket part you want for that car. Don't get me wrong, you can, from several manufacturers. This car, you can get any part for it from front all the way to the rear from multiple manufacturers. You're not stuck with 10 or 15. You probably got 40 or 50 with this one, you know. It's just the availability, you know. They're even as far as what you can change on these cars. Like I said, strut tower brace, engine cover. This one doesn't have engine cover. MSD, I haven't done it to that one yet. You know, just yada 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 yada. But parts availability, there's such a wide ranging market for this car compared to that car. I would venture to say there's probably twice as many for the 410 as there is the 510. And then with that along comes pricing. Although you can get the same type of parts for this car, throttle body, heads, cam, valve springs, catch cans, different belts, you know, you can get the green belts, yada yada yada. For this car is more expensive than that car. They really are. That car is cheaper to mod than this car. So that's something else you will have to factor into that. I mean, you just will. You're going to have to factor that in. Pricing, looks, you know, and then here are the last couple things. Let's do this. Let's set the AC while we talk about this last little bit. Crank it up just a hair. Shut the door. Ah, man. Okay, last couple points. So I'm just going to cram them in together. One of the last things that really comes into it, and I should have really put this first, but I didn't, so we'll take care of it now. What's the car going to be used for? What's your end goal, okay? Are you looking for a car that's just got a bigger cami and that, you know, and I'll insert sound effect now so I don't look like a complete fool. But are you looking for that lope in a daily driver and that's as far as you're going to go? You're going to create a mild daily driven street race car? You're going for a somewhat daily driven track car? Or are you going all out drag car? You know, this has to be considered in too. And like I said, really you might have needed to think about that first, because if you're going for a straight up drag car, none of the other stuff matters. All you gotta do is pick which one you want to make into a drag car and then do it. But you know, this is some of the things you need to think about, and I'm sorry I put that last. But you know, what is the end game? Like if I was going to do neighbor in his little BMW, look at him. Oh yeah, them guys love those little BMWs over there. The guy driving that one is the matriarch of the BMW crowd over there, and several of the other guys drive them too. But with that said, the end game, what are you wanting to create? What are you going to be using the car for? You know, so on and so forth. Because let's face it, I'm going to start talking about me now. I have two Camaros. I love both of them for different reasons. Totally different reasons. But I would hate to have either or to where I couldn't just hop in it and drive across the country. I love both of my cars that much. And just putting in on headers, I have shorty headers on this car. They were easy to put on and everything. I didn't require a tune. That one over there would be an absolute bear to put headers on. It'd make change of plugs easier, but it would be a bear to put them on. But once I got them on, I'd be done. I'd never have to worry about it again unless I had an exhaust leak. But I would hate to give up either one of these cars and not be able to just hop in it and drive it anywhere I want. So I'm not going to be making a track monster out of either or, okay? For me, where I currently work is about 32 miles away. All that except maybe 3 or 4% is on the highway. So I need to be able to maintain speeds of 70 and above, okay? The speed limit is 70, but very rarely, you know, do we see the 70. Most of the time we're below. But yeah. So with that said, either one of these vehicles can maintain 70, 80, 100, 110, you know, whatever I want to do. Either one of these vehicles can maintain that speed. So there's number one consideration on my part. What am I going to use it for? I'm not going to be creating a track monster because I've got to have a daily driver. So with that daily driver part coming in right now, that one is down with the AC, okay? My air compressor has a seal leak on the front side behind the pulley. So I've got to order a AC compressor, and then I've got to vacuum it down, recharge it and all that. So right now during the hot days I can handle the heat, and like probably tomorrow I'll drive that car. But as far as comfortability, and this car is a lot more comfortable right now because of the AC issue. So that's factor number two. This one is more comfortable due to the fact of how far I'm driving and the AC working. Gas mileage wise, believe it or not, let me see if I can get it up real quick. That car over there, when I drive it like I have some sense, gets 24 miles to the gallon. Yes, 24 miles to the gallon, believe that. Now let me see if I can figure out how to get to it in this one. I normally don't go into it, but look at that, average fuel economy, 20 miles to the gallon. 20 miles to the gallon. Does that mean a whole lot in today's world? No, it doesn't. But like I said, this is a 2012. Yes, I got 376 cubic inches compared to 350 cubic inches. But look how much older that is. Everything on it is dated. Transmission, engine, gearing. And it gets better gas mileage. Believe that? 24 miles to the gallon. I checked it last time I drove it. Now, one of the last things that's going to factor in is the money. It's always about the money. So like I told you early in this video, my job where I work, because of COVID-19, has had to cut us back to 32-hour work weeks. If it doesn't start picking up soon, then they'll probably lay a lot of people off, because once you go below 32 hours, much below 32 hours, you know, you can't offer benefits like health insurance, stuff like that. So I know you can offer health insurance by the amount of employees, but the other stuff that we have there has to be 30 hours or above, and if we don't have it, we don't have it. I hope we don't get laid off. There's a lot of people, you know, looking for jobs right now, and a lot of people in the unemployment line. I don't want to be one of them. I will if I have to. That's up to the big man. But with that said, with all that mumbling that you probably don't care about, price wise, availability and all that stuff, me driving as far as I drive and everything, comfortability and all that, this car that I am sitting in currently would not be the one that I would mod, taking all those factors that we've talked about. Because I could take the engine out of that one, right, which is what I'm planning on doing. 200 and almost 20,000 miles. My plan is to buy another engine, fix it, put the camshaft in it, put the springs and stuff in it that I want, maybe different heads, I'm not certain about that, different stall converter, all that stuff, put it back in the cross member, raise everything back up, hook it all back up, and skedaddle with it, right? But that would be the one when I mod, if I mod, which I'm going to. It's just always money, like I said. That would be the one, because I have to count on this one with it being newer, with the lower mileage and everything, because right now this has got 34,489 on it. So, you know, there's a lot of factors that you have to take into your thought process on what to do. Some people just can say, screw it, they've got enough money, let's do it. More power to you. I'm just not one of them. What little bit of money I do have, I have to save, because now I've got to worry about job, number one, and then I've got to worry about my health too. I have something that, well, kind of limits anything that I do. Anything. Even time. So, with that said, when I mod, that's going to be the one. Parts availability, pricing, comfortability, and reliability. So that's me. That's my choice. What's your choice? What will be your choice? What do you look for when you go through the thought process? If there's anything different that I didn't cover, drop me a line below in the comments. I love hearing from you guys and gals. I really do. And I'm going to get inside and relax for a little bit. Today's the first day that I got off at 3:30 instead of 5:30, so I'm going in. Plus, if you look way off between those houses right there, you can see the sky is blue, blue, blue. Wet looking blue. And you can see it coming that way too. So I'm going to go ahead in here, pour me a glass of drink, watch some TV, and edit this video. So until next time, you get out there and enjoy your cars. I've enjoyed sitting here talking with you, discussing the differences and thought processes of which car to mod and why. And I enjoy talking about my cars. I enjoy driving my cars. I enjoy looking at my cars. I enjoy cleaning my cars. So anything I do that is involving the cars, even sitting inside editing this video, I consider enjoying my cars, because it's about my cars. You get out there and enjoy yours. It doesn't matter what you're doing with them. You're paying for them. Enjoy them. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. How you like that? Pretty cool, ain't it? Heck yeah. Take care, and we'll see you. Thanks for watching.